Welcome back to Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan again, everybody. This Catalina here is going home, and normally every new RV at Haylett RV includes, the price tag includes showing you how it works. And by the way, if I sound a little muffled, it's because we all got these funny little masks and, you know, gloves on. We're wearing our safety equipment for everyone's benefit during this time. But what I was getting at is, every new RV at Haylett RV, the price tag includes the cost of getting it here, getting it clean, showing you how it works, propane fill, battery, some other odds and ends like electric and water surge protectors. But these clients couldn't join us, and we didn't want them to lose out on the services that we provide during this time, so we thought we'd kind of record something here to show them the basic operation of this Catalina. If you're the owner of this and you have additional questions, call us. If you have additional questions on something like this, remember, we are happy to provide a very personal level of service to anyone who brings their business here to Haylett RV. This is Mr. Dwayne. He's going to kind of be our guide a little bit today. And where are we starting today, Dwayne?
We are going to start right here on the solid steps. These steps fold in and out of the door. The biggest thing with these steps are make sure the door is 100% open so we don't get any contact with the door. They do latch into place right here. Unlatch and out they come.
And you can adjust those feet if your campground has wonky levels, right?
Right here. Because the reason we need to adjust them is we want this gap right here to be as tight as possible so that the door can freely close.
Okay.
At this point, we'll head right on in. I'll have Josh go first. All right, guys. We are right here with one of the safety features. It's a fire extinguisher. If you think you need this in the unit, please don't use it. Keep going right on out the door. Get your family and your pets. Get them out of here. Get them safe. Don't even mess with this fire extinguisher. It's too small a space in here. We're going to move up here to our control panel for this unit. It has how we can check our battery with a little button we push. You'll see the lights light up. Same for our fresh tank, black tank, gray tank. It indicates the level that they are. We have a switch right here for our water heater. Don't let this switch fool you. This water heater is gas and electric, but you still would have to turn it on in here for either. There's a switch outside that we can show you at the water heater where to turn the electric function on at. Again, guys, we're outside at the water heater. That electric switch is right down here. It's kind of hiding. It says on and off. But whether you're using gas or electric, you never turn this water heater on until you're absolutely sure it's full of water. How we do that is we pull this little lever right here and you'll see the water come out. That means the water heater's full. We can go ahead and turn it on. If you ever have an issue with this not operating correctly, there are two reset switches right here you would push and you would feel a click if it needs to be reset.
And they're going to feel a lot like the switches on your bathroom sockets, like when you have to hit the little reset switch at home, exactly. Right?
We're back at our control center now, guys. We have our interior lights, exterior lights. We have our slide out function and our awning function. It tells you extend and retract. Slide out, in and out. When you run this slide in or out, you want to hear this growl sound. When you hear that, let off the button. That properly sets the amount of pressure to seal the unit when it's out or when it's in. All right, guys, we're here at our cooktop, and how we light this is we have our burner locations here. And we have a little notch on our knob right here. We're going to rotate that to where it says light. And we're going to rotate the sparker. We can light one burner or two burners or three burners. But
the sparker sparks all three burners.
Exactly. The big difference in this cooktop is this sparker does not light the oven. We have to use our handy dandy match for that. So we're going to rotate it to pilot. And we're going to push in. And
push and hold the pilot button with your thumb.
And we're going to come down here and we're going to light it. Once it's lit, you hold it until it stays lit. And then you can go ahead and rotate it and bring up your temperature and close your oven. Okay, we are here at this little black box here with the green light on it. Is our LP carbon monoxide detector. If you ever hear this go off, don't ask why. Go to the door, open the door, go out, and we'll show you at the front of the unit where to shut the LP off. The other thing that can make this go off is your furnace. If you happen to be at a campground or at your house, turn your furnace on. and this starts screaming, don't ask why. Shut your furnace off. Again, go out, open the door, leave it open, go shut the LP off. But at that time, you'd want to check the outlet to your furnace. Wasps and such bugs like to build nests in there, and what that would do is that would create the exhaust to come back into the unit and set this off.
And we'll circle back to those items when we go around the exterior of the camper, so just kind of jot that down for a note right now.
And while we're right here, this is our power distribution center. We're simply going to touch and open. This side is breakers, just like your house. It's the 110 side. It's the park power when you're plugged in for the unit. It's listed what they do right here. This side with the spade type fuses is the 12 volt side, and it also lists out what they do right in this little slot in here, guys. If one of these fuses is bad, you will see a red light come on. That indicates that fuse needs to be replaced. And the good thing about that also is right here, this is actually a sight glass, a view glass that you can look right in, and the light, you'll be able to see it.
Now, recommendation, if you are replacing those fuses, it is advisable that you basically unhook power from the RV first, and that could mean disconnecting the battery so you don't accidentally arc the fuse.
Exactly. All right, guys, we are now at our refrigerator. This is Norcold. It's a simple one push. When the green light's on, this thing is functioning. Basically, this unit is always in automatic mode. What that means is when you turn it on, it is going to search park power 110 first. If it cannot find it, it's going to go to LP, and it'll automatically light. It has a note right here that says, if red, check your gas. That's if you're boondocking and operating strictly on gas. In automatic mode, if it's hooked to 110, and for some reason, thunderstorm, accident, power is lost to this unit, it will automatically switch to LP and light itself. When power is restored, it will automatically go back and look for 110.
So if that light's red and it says check gas, what do I do?
Check gas, you want to go to the front of the unit, make sure you've turned your LP tank on. At that point, I would come back to here, try to relight the burners, bleed the air out of the system. If that doesn't work, double check that you actually have LP.
And then basically, you just turn that off and turn it back on to let it restart its ignition cycle.
This particular reefer, all we do is push down here to open it.
Easy. Very good if you got arthritic hands. Some of those things are a little less friendly to arthritic
Push up
hands.
here. There you go, guys.
Beautiful. Bathroom's a little bit of a small space for two big dudes, so I'm going to kind of jump in here on Mr. Dwayne's behalf. We're going to work from our top down. We're going to start with the vent fan. These are sometimes referred to as the fart fan in the RV industry, for obvious reasons. You can turn the fan on, simple and easy, but don't forget, it's not going to do you any good if you don't open that vent. A good thing to include on your departure checklist, whether you're leaving the house or the campsite, is to always make sure that you've got that vent crank closed. As we work our way down here, the shower head, it has this little toggle switch where you can turn the water flow off and on. Understand, when you have it turned off, it's always going to kind of trickle bleed a little. That is by intention to make sure too much water pressure doesn't build up in the lines and cause problems on seals or traps. Basically, what you're going to do when you're taking a camp shower, because of the limited water access, whether you are using your 12-volt water pump to draw water from the freshwater tank if you are at a boondock scenario, off-grid, or if you're at, if you have camp water available, the water hose hooked up from the campsite will, be your pressurization. But you have a limited gray tank capacity still, and you don't want to always leave your gray tank valve pulled open. We'll talk about that more when we go outside. But what you'll do is you'll get yourself wetted down, hit the off switch, scrub your hair down and your body and all that stuff, hit the on switch, rinse yourself off, turn the whole thing back off. So it's kind of, 1, 2, 3 process. But you don't want to just leave the water running full time like you will at home. You'll end up, running loose. I do think it's kind of funny these things have tubs, again, because of like the limited fresh and gray tank capacities. Ain't a whole lot of people taking a whole lot of baths in these things. Now, our toilet operation, this does work different at home, because this is more of a gravity flush system. What you'll do here is you always want to make sure that you have just a smidge of water in there, because the water itself is actually acting like a seal to prevent the backflow of odors from your black tank. Now, when you are ready to do your business, there's a little foot flush down here. You see my foot wiggling. You will depress the plunger partially so that it starts to put water into the bowl, like you can see happening here. And once you've got enough water to do your business, you do your business, and then you're going to fully depress this and leave it held down for a little bit so that you are actually sending down like a water load, as well as helping flush everything down. And then you might need to, I pushed a little hard, you might need to depress your plunger again a little bit just to again replace that water seal. You want to make sure you send a good chunk of water down with any solid mass that you might send down the toilet, so that it doesn't end up building up and causing a bad scenario. Sink is a sink is a sink. I don't need to spend too much time talking about that. But one thing I do want to show you folks is the Gfi switch. Now, you remember when we were talking on the water heater, there were some reset buttons, just like this right here. So you've got a test and a reset button. If it's green, you're good. This is right here because you've got a water source. And in the bathroom, a lot of times people have things like shavers or blow dryers, high voltage appliances. The last thing you want to have happen is have a high voltage appliance dunk itself into a whole bunch of water. But it will trip that circuit and keep you from accidentally electrocuting yourself, because if somebody drops something in the sink, human nature is you go, oh God, and you reach for it. Well, that's the wrong thing to do, but that is your reflex most of the time. So this will prevent you from getting electrocuted. It could prevent fires. It could prevent a lot of bad things. Once you've cleared all of the bad news, all you're going to do is just hit the little reset button right there. And again, that's just like how it works on the water heater. If you can't reset it, it's not going to do anything. But if you can reset it, you'll hear the click.
All right, guys, we're back on our ceiling here. This is a 9-volt battery operated smoke detector. It is not wired into 12-volt system. Once a year, replace that battery, please. We're going to slide over here to our air conditioner. It is actually operated from the thermostat, and I will show you that. But if this room, when you come in, is extremely hot, this does have a center dump feature right here and right here that will direct all the airflow right here. It will not be putting any through our duct system.
Or that's really handy, guys. When you first get to your campsite, if the kids are going, Mom, Dad, I'm hot, drop all the cold air right here. But you don't want to leave that going for an extended period, like what, like 30 minutes, an hour is more than enough, right? After that, basically, once you're set up, once the kids are cooled off, then you flip those vents shut. It'll shunt all the air back through your central system the way you're supposed to. So this is okay to do temporarily, but not long term. What about those filters up there, Dwayne?
Yeah, as Josh just said, these guys here will just simply pull down and filters will come out. We just come to our sink, warm soapy water, rinse them out, put them back in. How often will I need to clean them? I don't know. Depends on air quality that you're at and that kind of thing. When these look dirty, clean them.
How do I turn this thing on?
We're going to come back over here to our thermostat, and our thermostat on this side it says system, and we're going to slide to cool. You can hear it come on. At that point you would slide here to set the temperature you want.
Now I will tell you folks at home, this is something that they shouldn't have done. What you need to think of this as is cold, colder, coldest. The way that RV air systems work is that they work in relation to ambient temperature. So, if it's 90 degrees outside, you might get it down to 75 in here, something like that.
Exactly.
It's not necessarily guaranteed like a house residential system where I have it set on 55 and I've got a thermostat set up and it's not getting to 55. It's not going to. No. But that's just an important thing to keep in mind. You're selecting cold, colder, coldest. So ignore the numbers.
Exactly. We will do system again back all the way over for heat. We want this system 90% of the time operating on auto. What that does is we do the, as Josh would say, warmer, hottest. It'll maintain whatever approximate temperature.
Yeah, I guess I was backwards, wasn't I? Cold, colder, coldest, warm, warmer, warmest. Understood. Thank you, Dwayne.
It will automatically come to the temperature you have set up, whether it's heating or cooling, and shut down just like your house does.
Gotcha. Now, one other thing to keep in mind, folks, there will be times like when you have the system set to heat, or if you have it set to cool, the fans for the air conditioner, the furnace will kick on right away. But the actual cooling unit or the actual burn unit, they have a delay startup. And when you turn it off, those things will turn off quickly, but the fan may still cycle for a period. So don't freak out about that. Like if you accidentally jimmy the switch a little bit, it is possible that you will still hear the air conditioner fan going off when you meant to hit the furnace. So then you'll hear the furnace fan going off and you're going, oh my God, what did I do to my camper? Just wait like maybe 60 seconds. This will turn off and the furnace will continue to operate normally. It is not anything you got to get too worked up over.
Last thing about the thermostat is, we come back to our system, it has an off right next to heat. We want to do that click for when we're transporting or when we're storing. That way these systems don't try to run when they don't need to.
Yeah, oh, that makes sense, because the last thing you want is your furnace trying to spark constantly when you're going down the road.
Exactly. All right, guys, we are back at our couch here. You notice it does have an armrest with cup holders. We're going to put that up. And we're going to fold this. I'm going to do this with one hand, basically. I'm going to pull it up. It's going to find what we'd like to call a sweet spot, and it's going to come on out. When we put it up, don't manhandle it. Put a hand here, kind of reach up to the back. With your back hand, pull a little bit. That's how easy it is. Underneath of here, I mentioned that sweet spot before. When we find that, it's going to stay. And we have storing for guest bedding, that kind of thing. Just don't overfill it. Fill it to this level and you'll be good to go. Put the couch back down. Alright guys, now we're at our entertainment center. The manufacturer has provided us with a TV mount. This unit does not come with one. You would hook your TV up to here, and what this little switch is, you notice the green light is on now, and what that would be is an antenna. To get park cable where you would hook up at the park, you would shut this off and it'll let the park cable come through the system.
So that's an antenna or park cable selector switch.
Yes, is exactly what it is. It does have an HDMI hookup also.
And that does run back behind the cabinet into this thing. So if you are looking for some, you know, HD entertainment, there you go.
Right.
Okay, so sometimes to get the good angles, you got to do some funny things as a camera person. For instance, right now, you're in bed with me.
You got me again.
All right. So what are we looking at up here? Like, I can see TV hookups. If you want to add a TV into the bedroom, you can. If you want to do that, folks, basically get a stud finder. And remember, the way to calibrate that is to first hold it against the husband's chest and say, there's one. And then it's calibrated, right, Dwayne?
Exactly.
Okay, but long story short, on average, every 16 inches, very similar to a house, you're going to find a stud in the wall where you could attach a TV mount, and you could hook them up there should you be so inclined as to add one. But what we really want to show you in here, other than stud finder calibration, is a safety feature. Run us through this window, Mr. Dwayne.
And what the safety feature is, you notice this window has a red exit on it. The screen has a red handle. This is an emergency egress window. You would grab this handle pull, the screen would pop out very easily. How we get out is we lift this up and out of the bracket, come to the window, and push it completely out the window. You notice the window is open. Easiest way out is head first. There is also, right here at my finger, a ventilation notch. So you can go just like that and have ventilation. The great thing about this, you notice that it would be very difficult for rain to get in this window. So you could have ventilation even on a rainy day with this window.
Speaking of outside, dive out there head first and show us how it's done, Dwayne.
Must I?
No.
All right, we are back at the front of the unit. Remember inside we talked about the LP detector and where to shut the LP off. Right here is where we're going to shut our LP off. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. You just go ahead and shut it off.
How do I know if they have gas in them or not?
How you know you have gas? Right now you can see this little sight glass has green in it, which indicates pressure from this tank. How I know that tank is this little bird's beak right here. So if this tank runs empty, I would rotate underneath just like that. Now the little bird's beak would be drawing from this tank. At that point I could take this tank off and take it and get it refilled. There wouldn't be any interruption in service to my unit.
So in that sight glass, like right now the bird's beak's pointing over here, if this tank goes empty, that will flip red, so I can rotate, exchange this tank while that one's there, and I never have a break of service.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Our 12-volt battery is right here, standard positive, negative hookup. What we really want to talk about here is you go to store this unit. If you are just going to put it beside your garage, and not worry about it, please take the battery off, disconnect it, take it inside somewhere where it's warm and dry. That way this battery does not discharge and freeze.
Well, another thing that people don't realize is so many of the things that we've shown you inside the camper, like the refrigerator, the thermostat, all those things, like the stereo, they don't turn off. They don't go into zero power mode, they go into low power mode. That's what's called parasitic load. That will trickle drain off the battery, and in only a couple weeks, that little trickle drain will actually totally deplete one of these batteries. And the way that these batteries are designed, they are only supposed to kind of float between like 20 to 80% charge. If you hard 0% drain it, you'll probably damage the battery to some extent and stress the battery and lose roughly 5 to 10% of its lifespan per instance of complete depletion. So that is why sometimes over the winter, one of those little, $20 to $40 trickle charges from the lawnmower store of your choice is really one of the best things to go. Just make sure you get one that is a 12-volt charger, not a 6-volt lawnmower battery charger. I've seen people make that mistake too.
Okay guys, what we have here, this little black box right here is the safety breakaway switch. What it does, when this cable gets pulled, it sets 100% power to the brakes to help it slow down if it gets separated from the vehicle. Where we would hook this end to, y'all probably recognize this hitch pin that would go through your hitch. We recommend that you put it over just like that. That way this gets separated from the truck somehow. We pull and set the brake.
Now, in order for that to work, you have to have a battery on the trailer, yes. Correct? So that is one of the reasons why it is your legal requirement to make sure that you have a battery that's operating on the trailer when you go down the road in the unfortunate instance of a disconnection.
Yes. All right guys, we're on the outside of the unit on what we call the door side. Remember we talked about the furnace outlet could get plugged and set off your CO2 detector. We recommend, right here's where you would check for wasp nests, that kind of thing. Here at Haylett, we do have and we do recommend that you install a bug screen here to prevent that from happening. Also, this is the vent for the water heater. We recommend a bug screen for there so you don't have the bug issues. As we move along right here says fresh water connection. This is where we would remove this cap, put a garden hose in here, and fill the onboard fresh water tank.
Now, when are you using that and when are you not using that?
You need to use this if you're going to some place that does not have a place for you to hook up a garden hose to this unit. So you would use this going boondocking, you'd want to fill and take water with you.
And that is when you use your 12-volt water pump. If you actually have park water service where there's a spigot and you hook the hose straight up to the camper full time, the water line itself is pressurized, so you're actually not using the onboard holding tank or the 12-volt pump. So use the pump in the freshwater tank if you're not at a park, basically.
As we walk along here and see simple, we have an outside kitchen. We have a grill that is stored up here. This grill does not connect to this unit. It takes one of the little twist-on LP bottles. And
those things are great too because they're high pressure, so it's harder for wind to blow those out.
This guy here is simply the refrigerator. This one works on 110.
So this is park power or generator power only?
Yep.
Now, is there any, do I got to worry about on, off, or does it just go?
It just goes.
Easy. I like that. Yep. College kid dorm fridge.
Right here is a pet harness ring. Here we kind of make a joke about this, but I want you to take this seriously. You're all packed up, you're ready to go. Please make sure the dog is in the tow vehicle with you, not in the mirror.
So you don't end up with a National Lampoon's Vacation scenario?
Yeah, and it's real nice to have this here for your pets.
Well, you know what else is good for that? You can, no, like, Dwayne's going, oh God, what's he going to say? Does he have a funny joke or anything like that? I got him so scared, you're paranoid right now. No, in all seriousness, just little things like, even if it's just a simple, not like security cable or anything like that, but if you've got the kids' bikes or your patio furniture, exactly. It's not a bad idea. You can tie those things down so that if you get a freak windstorm overnight, because have you ever seen the weatherman get it wrong? Of course you have, unless it's San Diego, in which it's, you know, nice every day. But if you get some crazy winds or something like that, you can kind of have your stuff sort of tied down so that maybe it's in this ugly looking bundle over here, but it's still right there and you can still recollect it and put it back on your site instead of traipsing all over the campground in your pajamas with a plastic bag full of, I don't know, dog poop.
All right guys, we are back at the back of the unit. This Darth Vader helmet mount up here is actually for a backup camera that here at Haylett you can purchase. We can install it, and you can see out here in this area from in the cab of your truck. It doesn't feed through the new monitors in your truck. It has its own monitor that you plug into 12-volt power in the truck and view it that way.
And as Dwayne moves around, one of the things that I want to mention to here is there are different varieties of these things. There are some that are backup only. Then there's observation cameras. The difference there, an observation camera will run more money, but it's a higher grade camera with a faster refresh rate that will actually give you good images in motion going down the road. Because when you're going down the road, if there's somebody like me with my little Kia Soul behind you and I'm tailgating you like an idiot, because not everybody understands what goes into RV towing, you can see that. Maybe you want to slowly slow down to encourage that person to get around you. And then obviously you can use it for backing up. Another thing you can use those for too is a little bit of campsite security, which is kind of cool. What you got for us, Dwayne? This looks shockingly interesting.
Yes. What we have here, guys, you have a 30 amp system, 3-prong. This one pulls out of the unit. There's only about 20 feet here, so before you absolutely set this up at the campground, disconnect and level and everything, please make sure this reaches the power station at the campground.
Well, good recommendation on that. Now, something I've learned from my years of experience camping, I will always bring at least 10-foot extensions for my power, my sewer, my water, because there are some campgrounds where the layouts, well, frankly speaking, just suck.
Yeah. With this, be sure that you always plug in the surge protector at the power source.
The surge protector that we include for you at no additional charge at Haylett RV.
Into this system. Always plug that in first. What that does, it's also a circuit analyzer. It'll tell you if there's anything wrong with the electrical before you plug in and damage any of the systems in this unit.
So what you want to do, folks, like Dwayne was just saying, like let's say the corner of this Cougar over here is the park power post. Take the surge protector that we provide for you. First, plug it into the park power post. Look at the lights on it. Make sure you have good power. You have clean power. You don't have an open ground or anything like that that could damage you. Then connect that surge guard to the trailer to provide power to the RV. But you want to make hooking the actual trailer up the last thing you do in the event that the park has a bad hookup.
Yeah, exactly. As we come along here, guys, this says low point drain, and what those are is they are right back here behind this jack. What those do is those drain the internal hot and cold water lines in the unit. You would use those to winterize to make sure all the water's out. You would use those if you're not going to camp for 4, 6, 8 weeks. You don't want water just setting in your system. Go ahead and pull those and drain them. We also have, it says right here, we talked about cable and TV satellite inside. This is where you'd hook up your park cable outside. Feed it into your unit. We have our city water connection that Josh's been talking about. This is where you would hook up your white garden hose, drinkable water, to a water source at the campground. This feeds water pressure directly into the unit. You, again, do not need the pump at this point because this source is pressurized. We have our septic dump system here. And what we have is a black water valve. Black water is anything that goes down the toilet. We have a gray water valve. Gray water is anything that goes down a sink or drain or a shower. How we do this is we recommend that you go out here to your dump station and hook your hose up there first. Then bring it back here and have it handy so when you take this cap off, if for some reason we have a little bit of a spill, we can hook right up.
Wearing gloves like Dwayne is doing.
At that point, you're hooked up. You would go ahead and pull the black valve completely open and you'll notice the hose wiggle a little bit and you'll hear some water flow. When that is all done, close the black valve, open the gray. Again, the gray water is simply water that's went down a drain or the shower. What that's going to do is that's going to help rinse out the stuff that...
It's basically soapy water.
Exactly.
Soapy water you don't want to drink.
At that point, we're going to come back up here and it's this black tank flush. We would hook up a hose, not your white drinking hose. This we recommend you carry 2 hoses for. You would open the black tank valve 100% open and then hook your hose up here because what this does is that flush cleans the inside of your black tank. Help gets everything else out of there. But you don't want to hook this up till you're absolutely sure that tank's empty and that valve's open. Otherwise,
you could flood your black tank and have water blowing up out of your toilet.
Well, not just water.
Well, ooh, yeah, yeah. I guess the water is really the least of your worries at that point because you could just towel water up. But yeah.
Yes. So we recommend that you carry like just your good old green garden hose for this.
It is recommended use different color hoses so that there's no question. You got green, you got white. Even folks who are colorblind will be able to detect the difference there.
Yeah.
Anything else over here, Mr. Dwayne?
I think that's it.
You think that's it? You think we're ready? You good to? You hope so? So once again, if you are the new owner of that Catalina, first of all, thank you. Literally from my family to yours. I'm one of Mr. Haylett's sons. Thank you for picking my family's doorstep and choosing to place your trust and confidence in with us here at Haylett RV. If you're not the owner of this RV and you have other questions, remember, we are more than happy to give you the same kind of individual personalized service with any new RV purchased here at Haylett RV. That's just kind of one of the things we do. So as always, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.